Telling a man he's attractive is one of the worst things you can do if you actually want him to fall for you. I know that sounds completely wrong. I know it feels like saying something nice is always a good move. And if hearing a compliment makes you feel wanted and seen, then surely he would feel the same way hearing one from you. That just makes sense. That feels fair. But that thinking right there, that completely reasonable and well-meaning thinking, is exactly why so many women put in real, genuine effort with a guy and still end up feeling like something isn't working. Like something is sitting just slightly off. Like he's around, he's engaged, he seems into it, but there is still this gap. This quiet little gap sitting right between the two of you that she can feel every single time they are together. And she doesn't talk about it because she can't fully explain it. She just knows it's there. He texts her back. He makes plans with her. He is warm when they are together, but he's not moving closer. Something is keeping him right where he is. And she lies awake some nights trying to figure out what she is doing wrong, because from the outside, everything looks fine. Everything looks like it should be working. So she starts trying things. She puts more effort into how she looks before she sees him. She tries being more fun, more easy to be around, more light and breezy so he doesn't feel any pressure. She pulls back a little and gives him space to see if that makes him chase. She opens up more and shares more about herself to see if that builds closeness. She tries being more available. She tries being less available. And none of it closes the gap. None of it moves him. He is still exactly where he was, still warm, still around, still not closer. And the worst part is the confusion, because she is doing everything she was ever told to do. She is being herself. She is not being needy. She looks good. She is fun. She cares about him. So what is missing? What is the thing that is sitting right there in the middle of this that she cannot see? Here is what it is. It is not about how she looks. It is not about how often she texts or how available she seems or whether she is giving him enough space. It is about what she is actually saying to him. Specifically, it's about the fact that what she is saying sounds exactly like what every other woman before her has already said. And he hears those words and they feel nice for a second and then they completely disappear. Like they were never said at all. Because those words don't touch anything real inside him. They don't reach the part of him that actually matters. But there are 5 specific things you can say to a man that are completely different from any of that. 5 things that don't disappear. 5 things that land somewhere deep and stay there. Not because they are impressive or clever or carefully put together, but because they make him feel something that almost nobody in his life ever makes him feel. The feeling of being truly and completely seen. Not seen like someone noticed him walking into a room, seen like someone actually knows who he is. And when a man feels that from you, something changes in him that he genuinely cannot explain and does not want to lose. He doesn't just enjoy spending time with you anymore. He starts thinking about you when there is nothing reminding him of you. He looks for reasons to reach out when he doesn't have one. He starts showing up in ways he wasn't showing up before. More present, more deliberate, more like someone who is quietly starting to realize he doesn't want to find out what things feel like without you in them. That is what we are getting into today. Welcome to Heart Lab, where we get into the real psychology behind attraction and connection. Not the surface stuff, not the tips about texting at the right time or acting less interested so he values you more. The actual things that create real feelings in real people and turn something light and casual into something neither of you wants to walk away from. Today, we are going deep into something most women have genuinely never thought about, which is the specific kinds of words you use when you talk to him. Because the truth is, most women were never taught this. They were told to be confident, be themselves, don't come across as too eager, and none of that advice is wrong, but it is also nowhere near complete. Because nobody ever mapped out what to actually say. Nobody ever explained which kinds of words create real connection and which ones just sit there in the air and do nothing. So that is what today is. A real breakdown of 5 specific things you can say to a man that don't just make him feel good for a minute, but make him feel genuinely and completely seen by you. And once he feels that, the whole thing between you shifts in a way that no amount of playing it cool ever could. Before we get into the 5, make sure you subscribe to Heart Lab and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. We put out new videos every week that get into the real stuff about attraction, men, and what it actually takes to build something that genuinely lasts. Okay? Let's get into it. Here is the one thing you need to understand before any of this actually makes sense. Because without this, the rest of it won't fully land the way it should. There are 2 completely different kinds of compliments. The first kind points at something a man has. The second kind points at something a man is. And the difference in how they land is enormous. When you tell a man he is attractive, you are pointing at something he was born with, something he had absolutely zero input in. He didn't earn it, he didn't build it, he didn't choose it. It was just there when he arrived. And while it feels pleasant to hear for a moment, it doesn't connect to anything real inside him. It doesn't reach the part of him that has worked hard at things, struggled through difficult periods, made mistakes and learned from them, built a way of seeing the world from years of real actual living. It just touches the surface and slides right off. That is why he smiles when you say it and has forgotten about it completely by the time he gets home. It leaves no mark. But when you say something that points at who he actually is, something he has genuinely built, something that reflects his values or the way his mind works or the kind of person he is when things get hard, something completely different happens. He doesn't just feel good for a second. He feels seen. He feels like someone is actually paying attention. And that feeling, the feeling of being truly seen by another person, is one of the most powerful things that can exist between 2 people. It is the thing that takes like and turns it into something much harder to walk away from. And here is the part that makes all of this matter so much. That feeling is genuinely rare. Most people go through their entire lives barely ever feeling truly seen by anyone. So when you create that feeling in a man, he holds on to it. He holds on to you because he knows, even if he can't put it into words, that what you just gave him is not something he finds everywhere. Now, let's get into how to actually do it. Number 1, say this to him. The way your mind works is honestly one of my favorite things about you. Sit with that for a second and really think about what it actually does to him. Think about every compliment this man has ever received in his life. He has been told he is good looking. He has been told he is funny. He has been told he seems like a solid, dependable guy. And all of that is fine. It registers for a moment. But almost nobody has ever looked at him and named the specific way he thinks as something they genuinely love about him. Not his appearance, not his sense of humor in some broad and general way. His mind, the actual way he processes things, the way he connects ideas that other people don't connect, the way he looks at a situation from an angle that surprises you, the way he explains something and suddenly it makes sense in a way it never did before. That is something he has been building his every hard thing he has worked through. Every time he sat alone with a problem and figured it out, every perspective he has formed from his own real experience, all of that lives in how his mind works. And you just told him, you see it. You told him it stands out to you. You told him it is one of your favorite things about him specifically, not about men in general, about him. That doesn't just make him feel good. It makes him feel like you are paying attention on a level that almost nobody in his life does. He has probably been in conversations his whole life where people hear his words but don't really register the way he thinks. They respond to what he says, but they don't notice how he arrived at it. And then you came along and you noticed. You saw it and you named it. And once a man feels that from you, something quietly shifts. He starts seeing you differently. He becomes genuinely curious about you. He starts wondering what else you have noticed about him that nobody else has. And that curiosity, that quiet wondering he carries around with him after he leaves you, is the very beginning of something real starting to grow. Number 2, say this to him. You are actually really easy to talk to, and I don't feel that with a lot of people. Here is something most women never realize about men. A lot of them carry a quiet, unspoken worry that they are not that interesting to be around, that they don't hold a conversation well. that women get a little bored of them after a while, or that the energy they bring to an interaction is just okay, but nothing worth remembering. They would never say this out loud to anyone. It would feel like too much to admit, but it is there. It sits underneath the surface of a lot of early conversations. This low, steady hum of, am I doing enough here? Is she actually enjoying this? Or just being polite? Should I be funnier or more interesting than I am being right now? Is she looking for a way out of this conversation? Is she thinking about someone else? And most of the time, nobody ever addresses it. So it just stays there quietly underneath everything. And he keeps performing a little, keeps trying a little harder than he should have to, keeps waiting for the moment he can fully relax and never quite getting there. When you tell him that talking to him feels genuinely easy and natural, and that you don't get that feeling with most people, you cut through all of that in one sentence. You are not just giving him a compliment, you are releasing something. You are telling him that with you, he doesn't have to perform. He doesn't have to work harder or be wittier or show up as some better version of himself. He can just be who he actually is right now in this moment, and that is more than enough. And the relief that comes with that, the deep and full exhale of feeling like you can completely relax around someone, creates an attachment that builds faster than almost anything else. Because you become the person who gives him that feeling. And people hold very tightly to the people who make them feel like they are already enough exactly as they are. He will start looking forward to time with you, not because it is exciting or impressive, but because it is the one place he doesn't have to try so hard. And that is something he will not find easily anywhere else. Number 3, tell him this. I really love the way you handled that. Most people would have just walked away. What makes this one so powerful is the specificity of it. You are not telling him he is a good person in a vague, floating way that doesn't attach to anything real. You are pointing at one specific moment and saying, I was watching when that happened and what you did stood out to me. Men care very deeply about being someone who handles things well. It is tied directly to how they see themselves and how they measure their own character when they are alone with their thoughts. And most of the time, the moments when they do show up with real patience or real strength or real decency go completely unnoticed by the people around them. Life just moves on to the next thing. Everyone moves forward, and he quietly files it away in the back of his mind, this small voice wondering whether anyone even registered what just happened, whether it even mattered, whether that thing he did that he is actually proud of was visible to anyone at all. So when you notice it, and you say it out loud, and you connect it specifically to the fact that not everyone would have done the same thing, you give him something that goes so much deeper than a normal compliment. You are confirming something he hopes is true about who he is. You are saying, I see the kind of person you are trying to be, and I can confirm that you actually are that person. And that confirmation, coming from you, coming unprompted, coming because you are paying close enough attention to catch it, makes you someone he wants to keep close. Because you make him feel like the person he is genuinely working to be. And there is almost nothing more powerful than someone reflecting back to you clearly and without any agenda, the best version of what you are. Number 4, say this to him. Honestly, the way you go after things kind of makes me want to push myself harder too. Now, this one does something the others don't, and it is important to understand why. It doesn't just tell him something good about himself. It tells him that he has a real and actual effect on you. That who he is and the way he moves through his life is genuinely influencing how you think about your own. And that is a deeply powerful thing for a man to hear. Because it means he matters to you in a way that goes far past attraction, far past enjoying each other's company, far past the easy early stage of things. He is making you better. His presence in your life has a real ripple effect on who you are becoming. And when a man truly feels that, when he feels like he is contributing something real and meaningful to someone he cares about, something shifts in how he sees the whole situation between you. It stops feeling light and casual and undefined. It starts feeling like something significant, something with real weight to it, something worth showing up for more fully and more deliberately. Because people invest deeply in the things and the people that make them feel like they genuinely matter. Not just matter as in they are nice to have around, matter as in their presence is doing something real in someone else's life. That is a completely different thing. And when he feels it, he will start treating what you have differently. He will start being more careful with it, more intentional about it, because something in him will recognize that this is not something you just find anywhere. Number 5, this is the last one, and it is the one that will stay with him the longest out of everything on this list. Tell him this: I don't know, I just really noticed the way you treat people. Not just me, everyone. And it says so much about who you are. Here is why this one exists on a completely different level from all the others. Every single thing before this one was about how he makes you feel or what you notice about him when the two of you are in the same room. But this one is about who he is in the world. Out there, when you are not the focus, when nobody is watching and there is no reason to perform, you are telling him that you have been paying attention to how he moves through life, how he talks to people who cannot do anything for him, how he treats someone who is having a hard time, how he shows up in the small, quiet moments that nobody grades or scores or remembers, the little things, the way he talks to the person behind the counter, the way he checks in on someone who seems off, the way he handles a situation where he could have been unkind and chose not to be. And you have seen all of that, and it has meant something to you. That is the deepest version of being seen that exists between two people, because it means you are not just paying attention when he is focused on making a good impression on you. You are watching who he actually is all the time, in the moments he thinks no one is clocking. And when a man truly understands that the woman he is into has been watching his character, not just his charm, not just the version of himself he puts forward when he is actively trying, but his actual real character in the unguarded moments, and that she genuinely likes what she sees, that does not leave him quickly. It doesn't fade the way a surface compliment fades. It settles into how he thinks about you, about himself when he is around you, about what the two of you might actually become. Because you were not just looking at him the way most people look at each other, half distracted, half somewhere else. You were really watching, and the difference between those two things, between looking and truly watching, is something he will feel all the way down. Now here is what I want to leave you with, and I really need you to sit with this before you close this video. These 5 things are not lines. They are not a script you rehearse and drop into conversations at the right moment, like you are following some kind of strategy. The only reason any of these work, the only reason they land as deeply as they do, is because they come from genuine attention, from actually watching him, from caring enough to notice the things most people walk straight past, from being present enough in your time together to actually see who he is underneath the easy surface stuff. And that is the real change I want you to make. Not in your words first, in your attention first. Because when you genuinely pay attention to a man, when you are truly curious about who he really is, the right words come on their own. You won't have to think carefully about what to say, because you will be truly seeing him. And what comes out of that place will land every single time, because it will be real, it will be about something specific, and he will feel every bit of that truth in it. Attraction that actually lasts is never built on being the most impressive version of yourself. It is built on making someone feel like they genuinely matter, like they are worth noticing. Like the real things that make them who they are have been seen and valued by someone who didn't have to look that closely but chose to anyway. That is what builds the kind of connection that does not quietly fade when things get ordinary. That is what makes a man think about you when there is no particular reason to. Reach out when he doesn't have a clean excuse to. And slowly, quietly start to realize that whatever this is between you, he does not want to find out what life looks like without it. So start paying attention differently. Start actually looking for the real things in him. Notice the moment he handles something hard with patience. Notice the way he talks to someone who has nothing to offer him. Notice the small thing he said that showed you exactly how his mind works. And then say something about it. Name it. Give it back to him clearly and without making it a big performance. Because that act of truly reflecting someone back to themselves with real care and real honesty is one of the rarest things one person can offer another. And when you become the woman who does that for him, you don't just become someone he enjoys being around. You become someone he cannot picture not having in his life. If something in this video hit you today, drop the word "seen" in the comments right now. Just that one word. Because if you are watching this and something landed for you, That word means you understand what most people completely miss about what real connection is actually made of. I will see you in the next one.